This is big breaking news. Social Security refund checks are going out right now for millions of Americans, and people are looking at getting checks up to over $6,000 at once, and also a major increase in their monthly Social Security payment as well too. So let's get into all the details here really quick, guys. Please just hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos every day, keeping you updated on all this big news, and it just helps to get these alerts out so people know what's going on. So this is what's happening. This is due to the Social Security Fairness Act, right? This was actually passed at the end of last year in November, but it is now in full effect. And we are seeing more than $7.5 billion in retroactive payments are going out next month, all right, April. These payments are going to be hitting people's bank accounts that are getting Social Security benefits. And this is affecting more than 1.13 million people are going to get a boost in monthly benefits. And they're also going to get a potential retroactive payment of up to $6,710. That is the average retroactive payment that's going out right now. So you could even get more than that. You could get less than that, but that's the average, $6,710. And here are the people that are going to be primarily affected. It says that the act gets rid of two rules and will result in a boost in monthly payments, which could be around $1,000 for certain people too a month on top of this retroactive payment. It says could get a boost in payments for former and current public employees who had previously had their benefits reduced due to having, quote, non-covered pensions. It says before the boost in monthly payments take place, the Social Security Administration is prioritizing retroactive payments, which will continue to be sent out incrementally throughout the month of March. All right, so some of these payments could already be hitting your bank account in March, but they're expected to all be sent out by April's payment date. And this affects a whole host of different jobs. People like teachers, firefighters, postal service workers, police officers, and any other type of job like that that has a pension tied to it where you have to pay into this pension. That has reduced their Social Security benefit. All right, so previously you would get less Social Security benefit if you had this pension, because they're saying the pension is supposed to offset it, so you get less of a benefit. And a lot of people worked in private sector and public sector. So they worked as a teacher. I was seeing people saying this. I worked as a teacher for 15 years, and then I worked in the private sector for 30 years. But me working as a teacher the past 15 years after I was out of the private sector, it prevented me from getting my Social Security benefit, even though I worked 30 years before that and paid into it all this time. Since I paid into this pension for 10 or 15 years being a teacher, or whatever service job you have like this, where you have to pay into the pension, then they're saying that technically replaces the Social Security benefit, and their benefit has been lower for a long time now. For decades, this has been the rule. And this rule was just recently rescinded. So people are going to be, so if you're a teacher, firefighter, postal service worker, police officer, any of these categories, there's more jobs too. You could be seeing this refund check hit your bank account. Over $6,700 is the average. That's definitely going to help out right now when prices have been skyrocketing the past few years, right? And it says that this legislation eliminates the, quote, windfall elimination provision enacted in 1983, which is a formula used to adjust Social Security worker benefits for people who received, quote, non-covered pensions and who qualify for Social Security benefits on other earnings that are covered by Social Security. All right, so these people, it's not like these people haven't paid in or anything like that. They're still paying into the Social Security system, but their earnings have been withheld because they have a pension too. So they should be able to get both. They paid into the pension and Social Security. So they should technically be able to get both. That's how these things are set up. And sadly, a lot of these programs are becoming insolvent, all right? These pension programs all across the country for local police departments, things like this, teachers, all these different pension programs are becoming insolvent across the country, and they're having issues, and a lot of them are having trouble even making these payments. All right, this isn't happening everywhere, but this has been an issue that's been going on and getting worse, especially the past decade. Right, so even these pensions are not secured. You could pay into it for 30 years and still have trouble getting the benefit, or the benefit could be insolvent by the time that you get it. And similar things are happening with Social Security too. And hopefully, with them reducing all of this waste and fraud and stuff like that that's going on with the federal government, hopefully they can figure out a way to make Social Security make more sense as well too, right? Because the program itself is not, it's running at a massive deficit. I believe, I know this number sounds insane, but you can look this up on the US debt clock numbers. I believe the liabilities for Social Security, that the payments that are technically owed, that we do not have the money for, that is just like paid every budget, all right, just a portion of it comes out of the budget. But the money that's been paid in and that is owed back is over $100 trillion. Okay, so that is the Social Security liability right now for the American people, is over $100 trillion. And the way they've been paying that is just putting a few hundred billion into it every single year. But that system and that program is having issues and could have issues in the future, the Social Security program. So hopefully they can figure out a way to fix it and solve the problem. But in the current time, this is good news for people that are on it, because these are people that have paid into it for decades and they deserve to get their money back, right? That's what everyone signed up for. And it says here that also the Congressional Budget Office predicts that the elimination of the windfall elimination provision would increase benefits by $360 on average for 2.1 million Social Security beneficiaries. All right, so 1.3 million or 1.13 million are getting these retroactive payments, and they're saying that over 2 million people are getting an increase of $360 on average. And this would further increase to $460 on average for 1.8 million recipients by December 2033. All right, so lots of big news here. Lots of shakeups are happening with things like taxes, Social Security. They also just passed in the congressional budget that they are eliminating taxes on Social Security payments too, which is kind of crazy. I honestly didn't even realize that they tax Social Security payments once they give it to you, because it's like they're honestly kind of just giving you your money back, right? You paid into this program and they're just giving it back to you 30 years later, 40 years later. I didn't realize that they tax you on these payments, right? So they're trying to eliminate that. That honestly makes sense. Doesn't make sense to tax people on it. It makes sense to not tax them. It also says that the government pension offset was enacted in 1977 and adjusted in 1983 and reduced the Social Security benefits of spouses, widows, and widowers who also received government pensions of their own. So it's saying that they're also eliminating the government pension offset. So it says the elimination of this, the CBO predicts, will increase monthly benefits payments by around $700 for spouses and $1,190 for surviving spouses in December 2025. And by December 2023, payments would be up to $860 and $1,520 respectively. Okay, so that's what they're predicting. Major increases, and even people that are surviving spouses will be getting payment increases as well too. All right. It says here that collectively only about 4% of all the Social Security beneficiaries are affected by these two provisions. It says, but the impact on those households could be profound. This is still millions of people that are being affected by this, over 2 million people. It says the act applies to payable benefits after December of 2023, meaning back payments will be issued for qualifying individuals. It says due to the increase in Social Security payments, the CBO estimates a reduction in supplemental nutrition assistance program payments for those who participate in both programs. All right, so there's a little bit of a catch there. So if you are getting SNAP, food stamp assistance, technically now your income has increased and you could qualify for less other benefits now. If your income is higher, it's in a new bracket because you're now getting hundreds of dollars a month extra. Maybe now you're not getting this SNAP benefits, right? So there's always a catch. And they were saying too, if this congressional budget provision passed the House, it hasn't passed the Senate yet, that would eliminate taxes on Social Security payments. But they're also saying that if this doesn't pass, and maybe the wording on it too, if you get it before it even passes, all right, it's already passed the House, hopefully it passes the Senate soon, this budget, I think it will, because they are going to run out of money next week, I believe, on like the 11th, something like that. Next week they're going to run out, maybe on the 14th, they're going to run out of money. So they're probably going to push it until the last day. But if you get your payment before they enact this law, then you might owe taxes on the payment. So if you get like the $6,000 retroactive payment, you might actually owe taxes on that. Technically, depending on the wording of the law, it depends on how it's worded. It might say all Social Security payments in 2025 are not subject to taxes, or it might just say all Social Security payments after this bill was enacted will not, because they just take it out automatically too. All right, so they might just stop taking out automatically, and you might still owe taxes if you get this payment before the bill is enacted. So look into that. Ask your accountant about it. I know these things are crazy. Figuring out all these different things. The tax code is so complex, and it's one of these things that needs to be simplified as well too. And I think that's something that they are working on behind the scenes. There's been a lot of talk about tax reform and IRS reform. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please just hit it up for me down there. It helps to get these warnings out just so people know what's going on with these payments and with their money. All right, people want to know what's going on when they're getting their money. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.